Hello everybody and welcome back to the Tail Racing Ring Runners here for round 10 as we close in on the end of our season now. We've got just 4 rounds to go, including this one. Pro Mazda is up this week. We're on the longest layout of our circuit, and it is a car that we haven't used in the last couple of seasons or so much so that Jen's had to buy it. So that's good. It's myself, Leary, and Jen Parfitt with you for this round again. It's a car we don't see going around the North Cypher in real life. We're back to those kind of cars again after a couple of weeks of normality with the TCRs last week and the Porsche Cup cars the week before. But this Pro Mazda is not used on this circuit very often. I wonder how everyone's going to go around here in this car.
Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest. It's going to be interesting. It's an open wheeler. They top out about 150 going down the Dottingham. They do just barely make 6th gear, depending on how it's set up. But I don't know. I mean, this could be an interesting. It's an open wheeler, and we do love a good open wheeler around here.
Yeah, it could be fun. We'll see how we get on as qualifying is coming to a close at the moment. I'll tell you about the championship standings. Dan Kosick is leading AMS. He extended his margin after last week's win in the TCR. Scott Sadler is 36 points behind, with Tim Woodshow 56 behind. Chase Petterjohn and Dylan Hessling round out the top 5, with Pat Mish, Alexander Bettas and James Bender all over 100 points. Anthony Serino, Bradley Lovings, Anthony Solomon, AJ Condon, Tim Tang and Jim Cunningham all have scored less than 100 points. It means they've missed a few rounds so far this season, done 3 or less. In Pro, Evan Krupperud has retaken the championship lead ahead of Corey Stas by 2 points as a result of his beating of Stas on the last round. Only Krupperud finished on the podium. Dave Mull is not that far away, actually. He's ahead now of Jason Hightower and Rick Putnam, who is down in 5th place. After missing some rounds. He can't afford to miss any more because he's already missed 3. Dave Hernandez is 6th ahead of Matt Green and Dean Diltz, with Pat LaBrosse, Aaron Smith and Ray Tew rounding out those who have done 2 or less races. This is the grid, as you can see, making their way up to the Tiergarten, up to the bridge, and indeed the final few corners. Jason Hightower has taken pole position ahead of Evan Krupperud, with Rick Putnam 3rd, then Dave Mull. Anthony Serino has taken pole in AM ahead of Matt Green. Dan Kosick, championship leader, 7th ahead of Corey Stas, then Dave Hernandez and Tim Wardshow at Knightford 10th. Pat Mish and Stephen Johnson are on row 6. Chase Petterjohn and Bradley Lovings next. Scott Sadler, Dylan Hessling and James Bender rounding out the 17-car field. So it's a nicely formed field. And Rick Putnam's back again, which is good to see. He's just behind Krupperud at the moment. He'll be looking to gain some points because, as I say, Putnam can't afford to miss any of the last 4 rounds now.
No, definitely not. If he wants a shot at the championship, he's got to be out there, and hopefully for Putnam, he will stay out there as well. We know he's good in open wheelers, and I think this one could be very, very interesting. Of course, winning the mini stock P217s, F4s, and the Audi Audi 90s. So it's going to be an interesting one. But this one is just about to get underway.
Yeah, through the final corners for Jason Hightower, who has taken the pole position here in the Mazda, ahead of Evan Krupperud and Rick Putnam, and then Dave Mull, who are on row 2. Let's see how the Pro Mazda round of the Tail Racing Ring Runners goes as we make our way up towards the line. Hightower making everybody wait. Oh, and they just about hit the back of one another, not quite, as we finally do get going. Hightower hits the gas and goes. He is ahead of the others by a car lip or so. It's 3 wide, meanwhile, in the background, as they all try and find some space on the way down towards turn number 1. Far down on the outside line goes Corey Stas, looking for a top 5 placing. He's already got ahead of the AM leader, Anthony Serino, and that's a great start for him as he moves into the top 5. Stas right behind the rest of his pro rivals then. The 2nd place man in the championship making a good start. Oh, there's a spin in front of him. Dave Mull goes around at turn 3.
Yeah, Mole's off at the back end. We're going to have to have a look about that one a little bit later. Of course, Anthony Serino is here currently at the moment. He's got Matt Green on the outside of the company. Green just sweeps round, gets the job done over Serino. Dave Hernandez making his way through the field as well. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how much further he can climb up here. But a great start from the Hello Kitty of Jason Hightower. Not sure what it is with Hello Kitty and Jason Hightower, but he's got a couple of Hello Kitty liveries, and he's out in the lead at the moment, but he does have the new championship leader tucked in right behind him. Patrick Messek has also been off the circuit as well.
Yep, Dylan Hessling's dropped down too. So there's been a couple of spins further down as Gratwell moves to the outside line, and he's been rather let around the outside here by Hightower. And can he get through? Maybe on the inside line. No, not quite. In towards the right-hander. Pat Putnam will close in as a result, as Hightower just weaves a little bit to break the slipstream here on the way towards the kink, and then the chicane at the end of the Grand Prix circuit. Take the liveries that I've noticed most actually on this opening lap. There's a lot of retro motorsport liveries going on in the field today. Not this one we're on board with, or indeed the one ahead. Oh, as Putnam goes off! Putnam goes for a spin, and he's going to be hit here. Oh no, it's going to be carnage. There's a pile-up going on to the Nordschleife. Dan Kosick moves up to third place. Bradley Lovings is up to fourth because 4 or 5 drivers are stuck going on to the Nordschleife. Fine. Oh, and there's someone getting up on 2 wheels trying to get past as well. And now the up on his roof goes Anthony Serino. Oh dear, what a disaster for him. And the track is blocked for Dave Hernandez as well. Serino gets out of the way finally. That is a mess.
Yeah, an absolute state. We'll have a look after this and see what went on there, but it was utter carnage. Now we've got Bradley Lovins. He's tucked up behind Dan Kosick at the moment. This is a battle in the hams. Great run from Lovins so far, though, mind you. Probably, I think, one of the best places he's been. I think this might actually be as high up as he has been throughout the races that we've seen him in.
Possibly. He's certainly the highest he has been in this race, up 10 so far. That's remarkable.
I think this is the highest he's ever been. If I remember, I think if you remember correctly, I don't think he's managed to get on so well in some of the other rounds. I think this actually is the highest he's ever been. It's a fair play to Brad.
He's finished in 5th in the Mustangs the other week. So I don't know if he was in 4th at any point in that race, but you might be right on that front because he, as I say, finished 5th in the Mustangs. That wasn't a win then in the AM class. That was going to Anthony Serino, of course, who led that race for a while and ended up finishing in 2nd place as an AM, which is very impressive, just behind Pat Labrosse, who turned up, did the Mustangs, won, and then left.
Never to be seen again.
No, indeed. Hopefully he does return at some point in the last few rounds. But anyway, Hightower and Krautwald have changed positions. Meanwhile, Evan Krautwald is the new championship leader, I was saying. The new race leader as well, as he makes his way in front of Hightower going into Metzgersfeld. So a good pass from him there, but what a mixed up order we have now as a result of that opening crash going on to the Nordschleife for the first time.
Yeah, complete and utter chaos. That is what has happened, and we'll, as I say, have a look back through. But it's going to be very interesting for some of the faster drivers that got caught up in that. As you know, what is the likes of Putnam going to do? What's the like? Fernandez? I think that was I think he's there in the wall. Oh, steady, son. Has he broke or is he still straight?
So he's still okay.
No, slightly left hand down. Hightower and Krautwald are, well, there, basically.
Meanwhile, they're changing places again here, nearly, into Exmuller. Krautwald was certainly on the defensive there, and Hightower's so close behind him on the way towards Bergberg. Oh, my word, that was close. Through the left-handed kick before Bergberg. He's on the outside line now as Hightower. He should be able to make this work because the run will be decent on the outside, but more importantly, he's got the shorter run around Kesselchen, which is just a long, gentle left-hander. And so being on the left-hand side is an obvious advantage, and Hightower makes his way through quite easily there, so he's back ahead. This could be quite a ding-dong battle between these two, actually, to decide this race win. And here comes Groutwald again, coming back on him on the left-hand side. So at this time round, he's on the inside line for the muck curver, and he's going to get the position back again, is he? Yes, he is. Just ahead of Hightower, who's going to get the cut back on him. Oh, and end up in the grass slightly. And he'll have to settle for second just for the moment. But a great battle between the two of them, changing positions a couple of occasions on that run up the hill. Yeah,
it was literally twice or 3 times, I think, here. Now the question is going to be, how can they handle this? How close are they going to be here? Because obviously with their low front wings as well, both of them carry good speed. Through the other side they go. Still quite interesting fighting it out there. There's another one down here. Look at these four having a right little ding-dong. Misek, Green, Watch Out and Stas with Chase Pettyjob going into the carousel. But here they all come, the 4 of them together. Absolutely amazing job there. And as you say, a couple of throwback liveries.
Oh dear. Sorry, he has gone and missed the chicane, the carousel I should say. and he's been passed by Woodshire and maybe Green as well on the inside line in towards the left-hander at the top of the hill here. Oh, keep your nose alongside and you might be okay, but no. Green has to tuck into line. These two both, of course, recovering from their start. Stas is down 2. Green is down 5 because he got involved in that lap 1 incident. Stas got past it, but has been overtaken a couple of times, one of which we've just seen there as Woodshire gets through. My favourite livery in the field is Matt Green's, I've got to be honest. I think it's a retro Arrows livery, isn't it? From early 2000s, late 90s maybe.
Yes.
It's very nice, actually, I've got to say. Very much enjoying it. Enjoying it more than the Red Bull livery of Woodshire anyway, because as we all know from officials, if you see someone painted like that,
you run.
You're in big trouble.
Yeah, you stay away because you just guarantee they've got a Max Verstappen helmet on, and they come.
And they drive like him as well. Yeah,
and they're coming straight after you. So just stay well away. Words of advice from us up here in the booth. Dave Mole currently battling out with Bradley Lovins side by side at the moment. That's just about going to work as they're coming into Klein's now. So Lovins has got to tuck that in there. The interesting thing will be the draft now. Where are we going to look at in draft, right? These are low downforce cars. It should be strong, okay? It should be, but you just never kind of know, do we? Because there's been a couple of cars that we think should be strong, but it doesn't quite work out. So where are we? We're half a second. Craftfield and Hightower have just swapped places again. Oh, that's there. That's boy.
Yep, and Craftfield is going to come straight back past again. So this is very much like what happened on the way towards the Muckkurve, actually, where one driver got through once and then got immediately past again, and it's Hightower doing the initial overtake and then being overtaken again here by the looks of things, although they're still side by side into the final chicane. And Craftfield is going to have the inside line. Hightower's going to have a much better run, and he knows it. Look at how close he is on the way out of the corner here. He's going to have another great chance in towards turn number 1. Might even be side by side over the line here, but Craftfield is just about going to lead the opening lap of this race. Still 3 to go as here comes Hightower again on the outside line, squeezing Craftfield, then pulls to the outside line to try and open the corner, but he's broken very late on the inside. Oh, too late. He knew that was going wrong. He locked up, and through goes Hightower into the lead.
Yeah, absolutely stellar job, Bradley Lovins here as well. So overtakes going down the Dottingham at this moment. Wow, there's a big sense for Mo. Oh, where is he coming from?
Well, yeah, I don't know if he broke too late or whether that was Sadler braking very early, to be honest, because he gave him the room in the end, but Mull through into 4th place. Lovins follows him through. It looks like we've seen a mistake as well from Stephen Johnson, who gained loads of places as a result of that lap 1 pilot we saw going on to the Nord Cypher, but he's just lost all those places to Petterjohn, Green, Stas and Woodshire now, who have all made their way through. Green and Stas are both past Woodshire after following him through the last part of the lap. Green has overtaken Stas as well, and now he's getting up to the back of Chase Petterjohn. Another retro livery. I think it's a retro Jaguar, maybe.
Yeah, I think so on that one. It is a Jaguar livery, isn't it, on Chase Petterjohn's machine?
Looks like it.
I'm sure it is. It's the old HSBC green, isn't it? Yeah, it is, because the Jaguar is on the fuselage bit, isn't it? The bit above. Behind the drive. I can't figure what it's called. I've literally lost my brain. What is it? I can't figure what it's called.
I don't know what you're reading.
The back end. It's on the back end.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Putnam, meanwhile, gets past Dylan Hesselink further down the field, by the way. Putnam back in the race, back in the game, maybe 13th, as he overtakes us an old Mazda livery from their sports cars back in the day. The one with the rotary engine, I've forgotten the name of.
Oh, Dylan Hesselink.
Oh dear, as Hesselink goes for a spin in the background. And he might well return back to pit lane. No, he's going to continue on. As Green gets past Petterjohn, right at the correct time, actually, as well, because he's just getting onto the north side here, where he might be able to make a bit of a difference.
Yeah, hopefully he might be able to start trying to pull away and open up a little bit here as well for Matt Green. But I don't think Petterjohn's going to stay there very long. No offence here, Chase, but you've got a very fast looming Corey Stas coming in the back end. Craftfield and Hightower still going at it again.
There we go. Around the outside for Crowroad again. He really can't afford to crash, I think, is the main thing here for Crowroad, but he is willing to battle, which is good. As they go in towards Schredenkreuz now, they're still alongside one another. These guys do have a lot of downforce. We should be okay to make it through here. And Crowroad just took it a little bit easy on the outside line just to make sure he could make it through the corner. And in the end, he was successful in doing so. So Hightower still leads, but Crowroad's still on the road at least. The reason I mentioned that is because Rick Putnam was down the order today. For the first time in a race that he has participated in, he is outside of the top 10 as things stand. I can't imagine he's going to finish there. However, it is the first time it's happened as Dave Moore gets past Dan Kosick, the AM Championship leader. Could be quite a battle for the AM Championship today. But Crowroad's lowest three scores are 23, 24 and 25. I don't know what that adds up to, but...
23, 24 and 25. 47, 50, 72. 47, 62, 72.
Yeah, so something like that. And yeah, you're right. So at the moment, he is ahead of Putnam by 48, but he will have 72 taken away from him, if you're following my my maths here. So 24 points is effectively what he is behind if we're adding 3 drop weeks in. Which I'm not even sure if that is the rule this season or not. I'm just going based on last season. In which case, Crowroad does need to gain some points, and he is doing at the moment, is the point. As Stas and Green, meanwhile, go side by side. Corey Stas has indeed made his way up to 7th place with Chase Petterjohn cruising in on behind as well. Yeah, he has at this moment in time, but Chase Petterjohn is tucked in now at the moment. Can he make the most of this? He has got some pros in front of him. Croughfield's in the wall. Evan Croughfield is in the wall. Oh dear. So I don't know what went on. We'll have a look back, but that releases Jason Hightower a long way ahead. That is the battle done. Dave Mole, Scott Sadler still fighting it out here in the AMS. Dan Kosick. Oh my goodness, that was close to Bradley Lovings as well, who moves back up to 4th. And so within a couple of moments, both championship leaders go off the road. And this is costing Kosick a lot of time. And there is another group. Here comes Stats on the outside of X-Muller. And he is going to get back through again. Green's going to be held up by it slightly as well. Here comes Chase Petterjohn as a result. And he's going to drop into that group nicely now. But goodness me, that is not ideal at all for Dan Kosick, who's got Tim Watchow now right behind him as well in this 5-car group for 5th place. Yeah, watch this. This is going to be mental. If these guys all get draft and all get any form of assistance at all, it could be incredible. Chase Petterjohn, you've got to stay there. You have to. You can see in front, Green and Stas, they're going near enough side by side as well. How is this going to be work? Watch Chase Petterjohn, because he's going to come like an absolute bat out of hell in a minute. He's going to get both of them if he can. Oh dear, that was close. And that was contact between the two of them, and wide and off goes Green. Excuse me, Sass. Green's the one who's gone through. Petterjohn goes through as well. Here comes Kosick on the outside line. The next right-hander, now he's off. And Stas will go back through again. Will he? Maybe. In towards the Stel Striker. It's going to be absolutely side by side. And with the inside line, Stas should get through ahead of Kosick. And then watch out who closes in behind. Oh dear, what a group we're seeing here at the moment. But Green is the one who prevails as Watchow falls out the carousel. Kosick's got that all wrong. In, and so Watchow gets back through again into 8th place. Yeah, we've got one who can't get in and one who don't want to stay in. So, you know, hey-ho, good luck. We've got Stephen Johnson and Rick Putnam there on the racetrack, both of them in the same livery. So please don't link up together, because that's going to be very, very interesting. No, it's David Andes and Rick Putnam, both in the green and orange in that one. And then in the middle, that is an old cool IndyCar livery, I believe. Oh, is it? Okay. I believe so. Okay, I didn't know that, but there we go. I am going to Google it just to, yeah, it is. It's an old cool IndyCar livery. 1997 Parker Johnston's Reynard Honda. Cool being the sponsor, of course, not the, not the description. No, it's not cool. It's just. So there we go. But yeah, very much. We could have a very confusing battle coming up very shortly, I think, between Hernandez and Putnam, who I'd imagine is going to be quicker than these two and should be able to work his way through into the top 10 again. So he'll be now worrying about Corey Stas mostly. Stas is, oh dear, as Johnson survives just for the moment. Stas's lowest scores so far are at 22. 18 and 28 twice. So what does that make it? 68 or something for his drop score. At the moment, he is ahead of Rick Putnam by about 46. So he would be behind him as well, adding into the drop rounds. But he is gaining points in him at the moment. Just not as many as you'd hope, I think, with Putnam so far down and so rarely so far down. You've got to be taking advantage of this. And Krautwald is evidently not. He's in the pit lane, and Stas really isn't either, in 8th place. Yeah,
Lovin's just taking advantage of Sadler. And I mean that on the racetrack. He's just gone through here. Scott Sadler's now chasing down Lovins again. What sort of speed are we racking up at the moment? 145. He must be topping out here, Sadler, because everybody else was up above 150.
It's bizarre.
Depends on gearing. It's open setup, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but I can't see him. Maybe he is, but I can't see him revving the.
Well, look at the difference. 155.
I think it's down to aero and the way that's set up rather than.
Yeah. But, we're just passing Kosick here, by the way.
Yep, that is a pass 4 position. Dan Kosick gets through on Corey Stas. So Stas not able to make up a place on these AMs as a pro, but actually the AMs making places on him in this battle for 7th place, which is not particularly ideal. Oh dear, what's going on here? Dave Hernandez is all over the shop all of a sudden, and Rick Putnam has gotten through on both himself and Johnson as well. So Putnam up to 10th position, and well, it's a very good recovery indeed. Just see if he can continue, as it's side by side between Kosick and Stas. Stas probably wanted to get back through again, but he's pretty tentative on the inside line there. He certainly wasn't that tentative on the way towards turn 1 for lap 1, but anyway, he's finally got through. He's up to 9th place now, or 8th, I should say, but just seems to be struggling a little bit with whatever it is today.
Yeah, I think the cars look great, and I do wonder if you was to put these on short circuits, what they would run like. And I mean short circuits, not, we're not talking Spa, because they'd be there forever, or, some of the other Kota, things like that. But I reckon sort of tracks like Brands and Alton and, Okayama, these cars could be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely, I think so. As Stas goes down the inside of Worshow here and makes his way through, that is a pass for 7th place. Stas has now executed rather well as they make their way into the Schumacher S now. Oh, he's nearly in the gravel, but stays on the road and should stay in 7th place now. Meanwhile, Lovings and Sadler for the lead in AM. Lovings briefly led. Now Sadler's coming back through again, side by side into the chicane. One of them's going to need to back out, and it's Lovings who is forced to back off on this occasion. So Scott Sadler makes his way through and is onto the podium again in the AM lead. This is going to be an AM win on the podium by the looks of things. Didn't have one last week, but we had one the week before when it was Scott Sadler who finished 3rd and indeed won in the Porsche Cup class.
Do you think he can stay in front of Lovins though?
Well, I think Lovins will overtake him at least once again, yes, but I think eventually he's got a good chance of winning. But I just don't think he's going to keep him behind for the entire remaining of the race, just because of how powerful the slipstream still is and how, not to say easy it is to overtake, but it's not the most difficult we've seen this season.
No, I think that's the thing, isn't it? It looks a comfortable car to drive, and it looks quite sturdy, even though obviously it's open wheel, it's high downforce, you would expect it to be. But I think, Brad, it does make it through. Is Sadler going to come back at him? No, that's going to be the thing going down into Arenberg. I think he might be a little bit too far away, but this car does it looks fun to drive, to be fair. It does look very, very exciting. I thought Sadler was going to actually lock up and go take them both out then.
Well, he did lock up, but thankfully got it stopped in time. As they make their way down the hill now towards Adnau Forst. Evan Krautwald, by the way, has made his way back out on the circuit again, so that is a positive at least for him. In fact, everybody has. Mace, Krautwald, Serino and Bender, all of whom have been in the pit lane, have made their way back out again. It does mean they're all over the circuit, so that's going to be fun. But Krautwald is not far behind Midge, so if he can just catch those few seconds, I reckon there'll be a pass for 14th place, and he'll try and salvage what he can here from this race. However, this is going to be his worst result of the season, I'm pretty sure of that. unless there is a major
Ooh.
turnaround here, because
Something's happened to Green.
I don't think he's been outside the top 5, as Matt Green has dropped. He has dropped behind Chase Petterjohn.
Yeah, he dropped.
His DAS is right behind him as well.
Yeah, I've got a signal to say he's crashed, so we'll have to keep an eye and see on that one. Kosick still fighting out with Tim Watchow here in the Red Bull livery. Sorry, I had a complete, I had a brain fart moment at that point. I couldn't remember what his surname was. These guys are continuing to fight as well. Lovins and Mole. Oh, Sadler, sorry. Lovins did have the position back right up until that point.
Yes, that was a mistake through Siphon by the looks of things. Kosick, meanwhile, on the back of Watchow as well. It's hard to know where to look in this race at the moment.
I know, there's so much going on.
Yeah. We're only, of course, less than, well, we're around 2/3 of the way through. Not long to go, but it's one of those shorter races, actually. We're 8.5 minutes. Well, I'll say shorter. It's still going to be 35-odd minutes, which is about standard, I suppose. As I say, we are using the longest layout of the Nordschleife for the penultimate time this season. Next week, we'll be using the 24-hour layout in the Arcas for the final time this season. The 24-hour layout will be used. Then the SR8's in the long layout, then the Nordschleife on its own for Duck Week, which we were talking about last week, and I'm not going to go through the rules of again. It goes Lovings. The slipstream's so powerful, especially on the way towards the Muck curve, where you're running uphill. The car in front almost struggling to keep the same speed because of gravity, pulling them back, and the driver in the slipstream seemingly not having the same difficulties. Bradley Lovings, despite making that mistake a few corners ago, is straight back through again pretty decisively.
Yeah, sitting in 3rd overall for Mr. Lovins. Doing a great job. Sadler not going to let him get away with it, though. He's definitely not going to allow him to run. I think for Lovins, he's just got to kind of hold on and see how he gets on. Obviously, we had the... Lovins didn't finish last week, did he, I believe, as well? Was that when he ran out of fuel, wasn't it, Bradley Lovins?
Didn't he run out of fuel in the Porsches the week before?
Porsches or TCRs? I really can't remember.
No, we've both slept since then, and we are both terrible at memory. So, oh, off the road, Stadler. Sadler's off at Horact, and he's gone for a big spin. That might give the AM win to Bradley Lovings for his very first win here in this series. Can he find reverse here, or is he just waiting? He's just waiting by the looks of things. Petterjohn, Green, Stas all go through. Watchow's going to go through. Then Kosick. Sadler needs to try and get out of here, but he can't. There's a big enough gap here. I'm not sure if he's struggling to find reverse or whether he's just waiting.
Or he's disconnected.
This is so costly.
It looks like he's something's... Oh no, we're back. We're engaged again.
Why did that take so long?
I don't know. I'll do some investigating after this. But this is going to be an interesting one now as well. Matt Green and Chase Petterjohn 4th overall. Obviously, Green looking to take the podium in the pros. Petterjohn looking to grab 2nd in the AMs. So both drivers have got lots to fight for. Hopefully, let's make sure and hope they haven't got too much.
1 lap to go at the end of this one, as we are gaining very quickly. It's so... I don't say so much more exciting, but it is quite exciting when the slipstream is as powerful as it is here in these cars. This could be the most powerful we've seen this season, I've got to say, unless I am forgetting an obvious one.
P217 was up there.
Yeah, I still think this might have the edge on that front, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. The point is that it's very exciting indeed.
Oh.
Good chase, run through for Chase Petterjohn, as he goes through Gowan Cop now and puts a bit of a gap between himself and Green, but probably what that's done is just given Green the perfect distance now to come back through from here in the car. Moves up to 6th gear, over 150 miles an hour. Going to be touching 160. Oh, is he?
Whoa,
goodness me.
dude.
It's very close. Too close for comfort for my liking anyway, as he moves over to the right-hand side and goes through. Now, will Chase come back through again here, or will he just allow this to happen? Now he needs 5th again, does Green, because he's slowing on the way up the hill. And so Petterjohn's going to be shown the inside line, but no, he's not going to go through. So Green is allowed 4th place, and consolidate that now through the final corners. I
know Chase is on the podium, but I am surprised that was quite as easy. I thought Petterjohn might have come back at him.
think he'd rather finish second in AM than finish in 4th overall, to be honest. That's what it seems to be to me. We'll see what happens, though. It's 2-1. He could be just coming back again here. No, not really. Green still feels the need to defend, and Petterjohn does take the extra space on the outside line, but never really goes anywhere on the outside line there. And so he stays in 5th. Then Curry Stas, who's not going to get through into the top 5 because he's gone for a spin. A nice 360, I might add, but he has dropped down a few seconds now, and Tim Watchow will be closing in as a result.
Yeah. Final lap of the race as well. One of the worst places you don't want to be making mistakes. This could be the closest battle for out this lap now as we're on the final lap. Jason Hightower escaped up the road as soon as Mr. Evan Craftfield made his mistake, and he's on his bike, and he's just got to keep it on track. I think that's, we can say that like it's easy, but it definitely isn't. Yeah, indeed.
It's the battle now for 4th place, by the way, really feels like it should belong in sort of the 2001 Formula 1 Championship, to be honest. But that's what it looks like anyway to me. The Arrows versus Jaguar. So there you go. But I'm enjoying it. There they are. Feels very retro, doesn't it? Looking at that. Although I don't want to be rude to Chase Petterjohn. I'm not sure that livery is a great remake.
Why?
The HSBC logo looks a bit off to me. I don't know whether it is just me, but it looks a bit off and a bit big, to be honest. But anyway,
I don't think it's stretched, you know.
It looks a bit big to me.
Anyway. I don't know. What year was the Repsol livery?
I don't know specifically. I would have said late Arrows, so early 2000s. But I don't know. I really don't know.
99. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
99. Okay. That's one of the ones I didn't have on DVD as a child, so I never saw 1999. Anyway.
Was you even alive then?
No, but I always had the DVDs growing up from seasons long before I can even remember being alive. I've got sat next to me. I'm looking at currently. This is off topic as off the road goes Green for a big spin. He although recovers rather nicely into 5th place. So it looks like Green versus Stas will re-emerge after all of that because they've both gone for a spin on this last lap. Sorry, just complete that point. Reaching out, I can see not even a DVD, but an old tape recording of the 1998 season. There you go.
Wow.
One of those big sort of boxy tape things you used to put in the
VHS.
Yes, yeah, that's it, yeah.
Blimey, let's go back. Using technology before you were alive, Mr. O'Leary.
I know. That's what I did.
God, Stas
goes through on Green, meanwhile. Both of them have had quite remarkable spins in the last few moments, spinning around 360 degrees. They've managed to point themselves back in the right direction again quite quickly, unlike Scott Sadler, who's down in 10th place. And now they're battling with each other for 5th place.
Yeah, they are. They're going to be fighting out for the final lap here. The question will be, can Green stay there? It's really tricky because you want him to have a go, but you're also aware of what we've got coming up. You've got the run from Bergwerk upwards into the carousel section. You've got the Dottinger down into Tiergarten. You know, there's a lot of places where Green could have a go before the end of the lap, but if he's gonna have a go, he's got to make sure he hangs on the Dottinger though. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing as well. I actually think leading onto the Dottinger might be a better idea because you get past so quickly in these cars that you might actually be able to come back again. And so I wouldn't be averse to leading onto the back straight for the final lap, unlike pretty much every other car we've ever seen do this series, and indeed racing at the North Cypher at all. So I think we could see a bit of a change-up today, as Tim Watchow seems to have gone off. Tim Watchow has lost a place to Dan Kosick. Has he gone off? Yes, he spun just on the exit of the right-hander there. That is just after Callenhard, and so he's dropped down now behind Kosick, behind Putnam as well, who's really swept up some positions late on here, Putnam. He's just stayed in the race, and he's actually going to get a decent finish.
Yeah, he will. He's up in 8th now. But it's always worth staying in because you just never quite know what's going to happen here. And we've seen it as well with Stas, we've seen it with Green. You know, dramas for all of them. And I think it's well worth just getting back on track. You're just never going to know what's happened. But watch Matt Green here.
Yep, he's going to be gaining very quickly indeed, and he should be through into the left-hander at the very end here at the Muck Curve. This is Kesterson, and now he should be through. He defends the inside line, does Corey Stas, but Green goes through. I think both of them want to lead at this moment to lead just so they can lead into this difficult final section and try and pull a bit of a margin. You can't do that from second place as they go side by side into the corner. Stas the one who lifts off and gives way, and Green is going to have quite an advantage. He had a much better run around the outside there. He's going to have at least half a second over the rest going into this final section where he needs to try and pull out an advantage if possible.
Yeah, he needs to try and get away, but I don't think it's going to be quite that easy. It's definitely not going to be that easy. He's just got to try and escape and be quick through some tricky sections. That's going to be the problem now for Green, because you think of what he's got coming up and how can he utilize and get away. You've just got to be quick, and the problem is this Stas has been there with him for the whole period of time, so very difficult as well indeed for Matt Green.
Absolutely. We go aboard with Corey Stas here. This is the battle for the podium, the last podium spot inside the pro order, by the way. I know Bradley Lovings is about to take his first podium of the season in the overall standings, but in the pros between Green and Stas. Further behind, by the way, I mentioned putting him up to 8th place, and he is closing on Kosick. I don't think quickly enough, though, to be honest. This is going to be his worst result of the season so far, by the looks of things, for Rick Putnam. He's finished 7th at worst so far this season, as far as I can work out. So I think this could be his worst result of the season so far. But Stas is only 2 places ahead of him. Crotroad is 6 places behind him. So it's actually going to be okay for Rick Putnam, who will be, if we count the drop weeks, the race or the championship leader, of course, of this series.
Yeah, it does get very complicated with drop weeks. It's not something that both of us love, to be blatantly honest, especially when it comes to us doing maths here as well. But your leader, Mr. Jason Hightower, is on his run down the Dottingham and nearly coming to the end of the Dottingham before Matt Green and Corey Stas get on to the Dottingham. And Stas must have made a mistake. He has. He's been off track because that gap is now extended out to 1.3.
Well, the gap's a lot bigger for Jason Hightower, nearly half a minute ahead of the rest of the field. A remarkable victory for Jason Hightower, his 3rd of the season, first in 2 weeks, and it's in the Pro Mazda this time around. A great win for Jason Hightower, his first open wheel win of the season, and it's absolute dominance. A great early battle with Evan Crotroad, but as soon as he fell by the wayside, he just pulled away from the rest. In the AM standings, we're going to see Bradley Lovings take a victory here, by the way, in the 3rd place overall. What a great performance from him in only his 4th appearance of the season. He is yet to finish on the overall podium. He's yet to finish in the AM win as well, as Corey Stas did make a mistake earlier. It's put him far enough behind for him to slingshot past Matt Green right at the very end. There's Lovings with his crowning moment in 3rd, as Corey Stas does indeed make his way up to 5th position. He will make some inroads in that championship if he can keep his nose ahead on the way towards the line here. He does just about. The gap less than 2 tenths between them at the line.
Great job. Whoa! All right, Matt. Finishing style. Great job from both of them there. And I want to have a look back because he come from quite far back, did Matt, from Corey Stas. So I wonder if Green may have made a mistake or not, because he was about 1.2 back, and I don't believe the draft would have been that strong. Surely not a 1.2.
Maybe. I mean, we've seen a lot of draft today, so I'm not willing to count it out just yet. And obviously we will see it. As always, we'll have a look at the replays in a few moments' time once everyone's crossed the line, but could be a little while yet. Evan Crotroad's just making his way through. It's not going to be that long of a while. Let's see. Evan Crotroad's just making his way around Schrabenstrasse at the moment towards the climb carousel. So 14th place for Evan Crotroad today. As I say, this is going to become a drop week, but Rick Putnam not taking advantage of it, especially Corey Stas not. Oh dear, and he saves it. And he saves 14th place as well. That very save there saved him a point. That could be crucial by the end of the season as well. But as far as overall points goes, Corey Stas will overtake him today as he finishes 9 places ahead. He started the day only 2 points behind.
Yeah, I think the championship's going to get very, very tight as we go into the last couple of rounds, and I think we've got a lot coming up, as in what is actually going to happen. We've got the Arca, which, if anybody's seen the Arca around here, if you've watched last season's, you know it is a difficult car to drive. But it's also one of the faster ones that we've had run around here this season, so it could be quite interesting. Then we've got, of course, the SR8s, and then, of course, we finish off on Duck Week at the end, which none of us can, we know. So I think this championship could be thrown wide open after this one.
Yeah, I think Dave Mull's sort of there or thereabouts as well, although coming into today he was 26 points behind Evan Crutwell. He's probably going to be further behind Curry Stas now. Well, maybe not, actually, because he finished second today, so maybe not, but yes. And there's our final of our retro liveries from the mid-2000s Renault that Pat Maish has been using today. So there you go. Quite enjoyed those liveries, to be honest. And the race indeed as well. 25 seconds between Jason Hutto and Dave Mull at the end. Bradley Lovings with his first AM win in third, ahead of Chase Petterjohn, who puts in a great performance to finish fourth. Corey Sass gets fifth on the last lap, ahead of Matt Green, with Dan Kosick, the farm driver, inside a minute. Rick Putnam, Tim Watchow and Scott Sadler round out the top 10, with Dave Hernandez just outside of it. Stephen Johnson just a bit further behind in his first appearance of the season. Dylan Hessling, Evan Crowd, Pat Mace, the foreign drivers on the lead lap. James Bender was 1 down, Anthony Sereno 2 down at the end of the day. So let's see what happened throughout the race, and indeed some of the incidents and accidents throughout the day. I'm looking forward to, if that's the right word, to seeing the opening lap incident, to be honest with you, and the pile-up going on to the north side for it. Yeah, well,
this was the start of the first part where Dave Mull had his issue.
Yes, that was a great recovery in hindsight for him then, to finish second. But I guess this next one will have helped. Not this one, although slightly it will have done. This is the one we didn't see until the hairpin. We mentioned at the time, Pat Mish went for a spin, and Dylan Hessling dropped down the order somewhere around here as well, but that's how Mish dropped down. This is Hessling. He was actually a bit further behind. Thought the two would be related, but Hessling looks like he's done exactly the same thing. Oh no, well, it nearly has, but he's locked up into the hairpin and gone off. So there we go. And indeed, this is Chase Petterjohn into the end of the lap. Oh, he bounces over the curb, and he went for a spin over the chicane, but actually that would have been a blessing in disguise for him, because he will have avoided all of this. Rick Putnam was the first to go for a spin, and then others just couldn't really avoid him. He ends up in the middle of the road here, but there's not enough space to work his way around on the outside, so Pat Mace gets into the back of them. Not sure who that is, pinned up against the wall on the outside there. Spinning to the inside there is Matt Green, who was trying to avoid, and everybody else is able to get past. But what a palaver and a mess this is. Oh dear.
Yeah, how did they end up going upside down? Oh.
That's one of the weirdest rollovers I've ever seen, I think.
He just got dragged into it, didn't he? It was almost like thrown up in the air. But is this where Watchow... No, this is another one for Tim Watchow, I think. It's not the... oh no, it's just literally it's the same one. He had to stop. Yeah. There. This is David Hernandez one, also on lap 1. There was a lot that went on lap 1. Oh, he's just sat on the side of the road there at the moment for Dave. Where is it? What am I trying to find here? It's somewhere here. That was the half spin.
A very weird spin. That's a left-hander. He spun to the sort of right way round. Oh, then he arrives at Pat Mace upside down. That'd be a bit weird. Anyway, here he is again. Oh no, it wasn't him then, was it? It was
no, it's anyway. Serrano.
Serrano, yeah, there we go. There was two.
It's Arenberg.
That's Mershad Arenberg going for a spin, and so this is going to be one of those long replay run-throughs, I've got to say, with the echo.
There are replay run-throughs with the echo. There is quite a lot. Watchow getting it all a little bit wrong as well. We've also got Dylan Hessling making another mistake. Fortunately for Dylan, I think this is
back end of this.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. He really grabbed the wall there. That's why he got so much suspension damage. I actually thought he just slid off and didn't hit anything, but that's certainly not true based on what we just saw there. So he had suspension damage for at least the rest of that lap. A little bit less retro, Red Bull, because I can remember it when it was around at the time. Here goes Jamie Bender, and that's how he finished the lap down. Eventually. When he rejoined, straight into the path of somebody there.
I got to give him credit. I don't think that was much of a rejoin. I don't think he come back. No, watch. I don't think he's got any control of this. I don't think he hits the accelerator. No, he just spins and then he's trying to turn the car. You can't do nothing with that. That's very difficult. I think this might have been Jamie trying to get it back to the pits. It was. You can have a look. Could that? If you're ever going to sit and vibrate a car, that would be one of it on there. This is what sent Patrick back to pit lane.
So he popped out the carousel, then in again, and then up over the curve on the inside. Oh, spun. Oh, dear me. Nearly left the bounds of the circuit there. And finally gets back going again, but might have seen damage and thought, better return back to pit lane after this. He just seemed to be down on the left-hand side.
Yeah, he makes another mistake not long up the road.
Oh. Well, I'd imagine the damage isn't helping as he goes over the highest point on the circuit. A little bit later on, slides and goes into the wall, and that really is it for Mesh. So that's where... Oh, no, he still continued on.
Bang.
Eventually, he came into pit lane.
I jumped straight back. Yeah. Oh.
That's some trucks. Stephen Johnson was running quite well inside the top 10 early on, but unfortunately spun his car out of turn number 1 and dropped eventually all the way outside the top 10, and he lost all these positions in one go, basically.
Yeah, we had to sit there and wait, and then we've got Dylan Hesselink, who did some more. Oh, he's going round. He broke early to try and stop it. Fair play to him. Now, we talked about Evan Krautfeld making his mistake. This was it.
Yes. Just after Metzgersfeld, and he locks up straight into the wall in a very big way. So he got a little bit loose early on, got into the grass, couldn't slow it down in time, and then got really bad suspension damage as a result of that. And that was what sent him back to the pit lane. Jamie Bender still looks like he's damaged here, based on this. And he spins again.
He does, yeah. Evan again, I think this may have been the one that sent him back to pit lane.
I think this is as he's... Oh, yeah, so he did carry on, but eventually just pulled over and thought, this is going to go a lot quicker if I just tow.
Yeah, Dan Kosick was another one. I think we saw the back end of this. Oh.
Yes, we did see the back end of it.
Oh, yeah, because that's so close. Lovins.
That's literally how close he came to not winning this race. That is the difference.
Mm-hmm. And then this is poor old Jamie Bender again. He got himself involved in quite a lot, unfortunately, Mr. Bender. Randy's going to... No, he's going to go bang. Yeah, now we talked about Matt Green. This was his incident for Matt. Into
Adnar Forst. A little bit late, a little bit wide, and spins around. Wasn't the last spin he'd have in the race either.
No.
So I think there was one on the last lap, wasn't there? Through Hatzenbach, although we did see that live. We have another look at Scott Sadler's incident. We saw the back end of. That was always out of shape. And he does remarkably well not to hit the wall. It just took him ages to turn back round again.
It definitely did. We're not quite so sure why all of a sudden he stops.
I mean, he could have gone then. He could have reversed it right immediately there. But he decided to wait and would finish way down in the end. Stephen Johnson would finish behind him, but he wouldn't graze the wall.
Taps the wall as well. And this was Corey Stas and Stephen Johnson. Not sure how we ended up. We can keep ending up behind the trucks. This is Stas's spin.
That's sort of the background of that as well.
Yeah. And then Stephen does another one after, unfortunately.
A lot of spins today. A bit wide, very wide. Oh dear.
Onto the marbles and around he goes. We want to have a look at this one again. This is Matt Green.
Yeah, and so we did see this live, but I was harping on about VHS tapes at the time.
He was.
He grazes the wall with the rear end.
That's
and
pirouette.
Gets away with it, but somewhat surprising he didn't do any more damage as a result of that. Tim, watch out. We didn't see this, but we just see him drop down up over the curb and he did grab the front end with the walls out. And by the way, these cars don't look like they've got the new damage model, so the front end just crumples like sort of a road car instead of the nose coming off.
Just kind of squishes. Corey Stas, I want to get to Stas's pass in a minute, but I think he runs. Yeah, he runs. See, this is what amazes me. If he runs wide as well, he's down on. He's well away from him here. That's what I don't understand. How did Matt Green get caught? Because that's a big old gap he's making up here.
It is.
Unless we're looking at the difference in aero again when we talk about setups.
It's entirely possible this is aero, because that is a long way. And Green knows he's vulnerable. He maybe knows that there is a straight line speed difficulty
Look at
for
this.
him. Look at the speed that Stas has got here. Maybe grazing the rear wing earlier in the lap for Green has held him back even more than normal, but I don't think that amount of grazing on the wall will do this amount of damage. It's got to be aero, and then of course that's multiplied by the slipstream that Stas eventually gets as he gets closer, and he roars past. I mean, there's nothing that Green could have done there.
No, I think literally that is setup based. We've seen it before, haven't we? In what was the car we were in at the time? There was like a 2-second makeup that they could catch up in the car, and I just think that was a massive gain, and Corey Stas did a great job. So there we go. That's the end of the replay run through.
It's becoming a thing. So that is it for round 10 of the Tvail Racing Ringers. We're back next week, of course, with the Arcas from the 24-hour layout of the Nurburgring Nordschleife. But basically what we've done today without the Mercedes Arena, instead a rather awkward chicane at the beginning. So we look forward to that in a week's time. But this was a good round, I think. One of the longer replay run-throughs, as you say. However, it is a bit, partly, I guess, because this car is quite so difficult, but an entertaining race, actually, in the end. Maybe not for the win, although we did get a good opening battle for that. Plenty of battles further down, though. It was very enjoyable.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. And I'd love to do a little series in this, just a 6-weeker or something, because this car does look immensely fun to drive.
If not a little bit difficult as well. So there you go.
Yeah, a bit of both.
That goes with it too. Well, that's it for this round of the championship. Thanks very much for joining us again. We'll be back next week for the Arcas from the 24-hour layout of the Nordschleife. But from myself, Ian Leary, and James Parfitt, we'll see you in 1 week's time for that. It's goodbye for now.